So he might say,
Okay.
cues, moving stuff behind the scenes, and then he introduces us.
Yep, we can hear you. Can you hear us? Okay, and you can see us. Okay. Okay, so we're going to get started then. So, hello everybody, I'm Carolyn Miles. I'm the CEO and president of Save the Children, and I'm here today in West Africa, in the village of Jemma, in the northwest part of Mali. And there's a really critical food crisis going on here, not only here in Mali, but across West Africa. So in places like Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mauritania. And about 18 million people are affected. And here in Mali, about 4.6 million people are affected. And about 1 million children are really at risk here from hunger. Mali has always been actually a really tough place to be a child. So even before this drought and hunger crisis, about 38% of kids here in Mali have been malnourished. So it's always been a tough place. But with the recent drought and the bad harvest last year, it's really tipping families into a really disastrous place. So we're here today to launch the 2012 Fast-a-thon. And we want everybody to get involved. You're going to be hearing from us over the next 24 hours, and I'll give you more information on what we're going to do on the Fast-a-thon. But I want to introduce some people who are here with me. Right here with me is Solomon Touré, and Solomon is one of our staff, our Save the Children staff here in Mali. And he's going to tell you a little bit more about the situation in Mali in a second. But I also wanted to introduce some other folks that you are going to hear from over the next 24 hours, who are going to talk to you over the live stream. So we are live from Jemma, and we'll be here for the next 24 hours. So behind me are a couple of other folks you're going to hear from. I have Alamata, I have Norbert, I have Athene, who is here, one of our really special guests. Athene is a hugely popular online gamer. There's about 700,000 followers. We hope they're watching now. And Reese is with us as well. And then Susanna and Ettore. And you're going to hear from all of these folks over the next 24 hours. We're going to tell you a lot more about what's happening here in Mali. But the most important thing I want to tell you is that you can get involved. And we're kicking off this Fast-a-thon right now so that you can give up a meal, give up a snack, or fast with us for 24 hours so that you get a sense for what it feels like to be hungry. Very few of us actually ever feel what that's like. And many, many people here in Jemma that you can see behind me have that feeling every single day. So we want you to experience that. We want you to spread awareness of what's happening here in West Africa, and we want you to raise funds for our response. Save the Children is responding all across West Africa. We've reached about 700,000, but we have many, many more people that we need to reach over the next couple of weeks, and we really need your help over the next 24 hours. So I'm going to turn it over to Solomon, and he's going to talk a little bit more about what we're doing right here in Mali. We've been visiting the programs the last couple of days, and Solomon's going to talk about those programs. Solomon.
Thank you very much, Caroline. As Caroline mentioned, it's always difficult for families and communities here in Mali. August and September are the most difficult and stressful period of the year because it's the lean time, the lean season. The lean season is the time of the year when resources like crops, like food, like other needed assets are least accessible to many of the people. Families are resorting to ways of coping and surviving that are highly damaging to their children. These include, for instance, taking children out of school. These include skipping meals and selling their livestock, which is often the single most important asset here in Mali. Our team are on the ground and are working hard across Mali to get to those that are most in need. We have already reached out to more than 300,000 people with interventions like children with malnutrition in centers like those we are already in. But the truth is that we must do more, and we need your help and firm commitment to help to do this. Thank you. Back to you, Karen.
Thank you, Solomon. We spent the morning actually meeting with moms and their children, and we have a really special guest who's going to join us today. Her name is Miriam. She lives right here in this village, and her child's name is Zainab. She's a little girl, and we're going to hear a little bit about Miriam's story. Solomon is going to translate for you from the local language. We're going to hear a little bit about what's happened for Miriam and her family because of this drought and this hunger crisis. So, Solomon?
Thank you, Caroline. So we're going to have some talk with Mariam and her 2 months old daughter. First, I'm going to ask her what she and her husband do for a living. Mariam? Somoro. Any ikagike aube mu baraki auka baremu.
Chiga aninyo. Chiga ambe chiga ninyo sene.
Mariam says that there are, as most of people in this community are predominantly farmers, and she and her husband grow bean and peanut and other essential crops. So I'm going to ask her what was the situation last year, and this year amid all that's going on in terms of food insecurity and all of that. So Mariam, ego kuibe seneke enike obe nyosene obe tigasene anifengere. Sene auka sene silung akira chugudi aningina akine sene nbe chugudi.
Tala kurama foisero arkile. Amma nyosero amma chikasero. Na falambe sene lambe sene na ambolo de ma samia kon ma bon folo nambe de sonante de soran ko
na mo foi faisoro silung anyina fana
jim sala goni jima arjikila masoro. Kongo banasa noko banasa jikana sene balo kan sene.
Mariam says that they are farmers and they do the best they can to produce what they can eat. But she says it's difficult because last year, because of failed rains, they got almost nothing from their farm. And this year they have planted some crops, but they really don't know whether these crops will succeed, will be successful or not. Mariam, now I'm going to ask Mariam, what's the problem? Because clearly there's a problem with Genaba, Mariam's 2-month-old daughter. I'm going to ask her what's the problem, and I will listen. Mariam, Genaba ni ala gibado nga fuku problem bala kwa. Est-ce que mube Genaba la?
Baloko dese bo Genaba la parce que sindi chinten non foi tala.
Baloko dese ni ebe kamuke munke fura sorala obe mu.
Ani anjarani sokla ni. Donc ça on a dama ko na fara ma donner parce que atumbe blema na ça avec commencer ka bod blema na don.
Donc ka furani ma ebe abe ka furani be kanya.
De ka noye. Anya noye de ko se akanye.
Okay. Mariam says that her 2-month-old daughter Geneva here with us is sick and she's suffering from malnutrition. And so she took Geneva to the center here 2 weeks ago, and Mariam started receiving malnutrition products, including what we call peanut that you can see here. It's delivered through a Save the Children supported program here. So I asked her whether or not this peanut is working on other essential things. She says yes, because the child was in the red zone. Actually, you have different zones when it comes to malnutrition. You have red, that's really serious. You have a yellow, that's moderate. I'm not an expert on that. And you also have green, which means there is no problem. So Geneva was in the red zone. She's moving slowly but surely into the yellow zone, which means that the plum peanut and other products she's receiving are really working. So that's good news. So Maria, sisa eko nimbeka noya kero. Sisa balukuni sisa ni samimbeka na. Ebena wo ebeka ebewe tugoti esko ela kila jimbeka na sisa parce que jimbeka na esko noya bena kana to kasabu yake dumuni ko nuni.
Mashallah. Nyala senda jibe kana ko se. Nyala senda mani se famunyana. Ambe na don so.
Don beka au babisa beka esan tugoti.
Amka dinni ke kuran usro be mo de kana ni baloye ani gorfon de kana ni baloye don. Ambe ko.
Okay, merci beaucoup. I just asked her a question since crops failed last year, how she's getting to feed herself and her family, and she says that she's entirely relying on interventions like government food distribution programs and other programs like were provided by Save the Children. And she says that it's beginning to rain. It's raining now, but she's cautiously optimistic whether or not these rains will continue or whether or not they will stop when they should not stop. But she says she's cautiously optimistic and she hopes that things will be different positively next year. So I'm going to thank Mariam for her participation. Back to you, Caroline.
Thank you, Solin, and thank you, Mariam, and thank you, Zena, for joining us. I think this is a great example of what happens to families who really have little resources, and then when the drought comes, it really tips them into this really tough spot. And so children like Zainab really need help now. They need you to respond, and they really need help now. So things like Plumpy Nut, this really simple intervention that kids who are malnourished can eat, are things that Save the Children is supplying right now here in Gemma. And we hope that you will continue to tune in. Again, we'll be here in Gemma for the next 24 hours. Again, we want to make sure that you get involved. We want you to give up a snack, give up a meal, or fast with us for the whole 24 hours. And we also want you to get the word out to friends and raise funds. We have a goal to raise funds, particularly for Gemma and for Mali and all of West Africa around this disaster and this crisis for families like Mariam and like Zena. So please tune back in, and we'll see you in a bit. And we're just going to show you a little bit more of the village here before we say goodbye. Bye-bye from Gemma.